This is Julien, I'm here in Paris, and what I want to talk about today is envy. That painful emotion of just really wanting or desiring something that someone else has that you don't have. Okay, and too often do I see people get sucked into these negative spirals of envy and just lose all motivation. You look around you and you constantly see people who just have it better off than you. Wherever you're watching this video, you can look around and guess what? There's people here with a lot more money than you have. There's people here with a lot more opportunities than you have. There's people here with a way better childhood than you've had. There's people here with all these unfair advantages. It's just a lot easier for them, They walk through the street, they're all set, and look at you, having to work on yourself, having to put all this effort in, having to suffer, break outside of your comfort zone. It's a lot harder, it's not easy, and guess what? This little cycle of envy will kill your motivation. Okay, and I see it all the time. People just complaining. When I teach success with women, two of the most common excuses is, well, what about all those other guys who have money and looks? Why don't I have this? Why do I have to improve my social skills? Why do I have to work so hard? I feel a little try hard. It's just so unfair. It's just so fucking unfair. And I wish I was them. Fuck this. It's unfair. Why even do it? So the first thing you're going to want to do here, okay, whenever you experience this emotion of envy, is stop the flow of added painful emotions. Okay, because what happens is you're envious. You may realize it now. You're like, fuck, Julien's right. I'm envious of this person. I'm envious of all these people here. I suck. I should not be feeling this. I'm mad at myself for feeling this. I feel guilty for being envious. And what are you doing here? You're just dragging yourself down even more. Okay, you have the feeling of envy, and on top of that, now you have the feeling of guilt, the feeling of anger, so on and so forth. And then, of course, you feel even, let's just say, more angry about being angry, and it's never ending. Okay, and what does this come from? Ultimately, the labels that we place on these emotions. The way we're conditioned, we tend to view envy as something bad. It's like, fuck, envy is bad. I'm bad for feeling this, and it just gets worse. And what you're going to want to do here is, strip away all these labels. Whenever you feel it, guess what? It's a natural human emotion. It's there for a reason, and there's nothing to feel necessarily guilty or mad about. Okay, whenever you experience it, simply acknowledge it and let it flow through you. Okay, it'll be a lot less painful, let's just say. You won't get hooked on it or stuck in that emotional state there. And meditation is something that helps a lot with this. Okay, if you sit down, and I highly recommend it, just sit down and simply let your thoughts arise. Let your emotions arise and just don't judge them. Okay, stop judging them, and guess what? They'll just naturally flow through you. Okay, so this is the first thing. If you're experiencing it right now, acknowledge it, realize it's natural, and start just letting it flow through you instead of dragging it down and dragging yourself down even more. So the second thing you need to realize is that whenever you're experiencing envy, it's only when you're perceiving a certain lack. Okay, and you need to become clear on what it is you think you're lacking. Because oftentimes, it's just so vague that this is what keeps us in this cycle of envy. It's like, we don't really know precisely what it is we're missing. We're like, those people, fuck, everything just sucks for me, everything just sucks for me. In what way precisely? Okay, and as an example, linking this back to success with women, two of the big ones are money or looks. It's like, I'm just lacking the money. I can't succeed without the money. I can't succeed without the looks. Everyone else has it so much easier than me. Why is this happening to me? Okay, so be clear on what it is you think you're lacking. And secondly, okay, question it. One thing I love doing is, well, what's so bad about not having this? I like that. What's so bad about not having looks? What's so bad about not having the money? And you should reach the conclusion that it isn't. It's like, why are you not complete, or why are you not enough right now as is? Why do you need anything external to complete you? Okay, because here's the other catch. If you base your identity or your self-esteem, or let's just say your self-concept on something external, it's always going to be fluctuating. So for example, if you're basing it on your looks, some days you'll feel awesome, some days you'll feel horrible. And the other interesting part is that as soon as you get it, okay, what are you going to fear now? Instead of being like envious, like I wish I had it, now you're going to fear losing it. So it's never ending, okay? This cycle will never end. You'll never feel happy, at ease, or satisfied, okay? So bring awareness to it, start questioning it, and then of course, ask yourself, what do I have? Okay? What happens is, if you don't have something, you have something else. And the person who has that thing that you want so bad, they don't have that other thing. And what we tend to do is we focus on so much on what we lack that we don't even realize what we have. Okay, so what do you have? You may be looking at someone, you're like, all those unfair advantages. What are yours? What are the unfair advantages you have that, say, someone else doesn't have? and switch your focus on that there. And building on this too, stop focusing so much on other people and stop comparing yourself so much to other people. Now, when you hear this, it's easy to be like, well, comparison, helps me. It's what motivates me. It's what kicks me in the ass, a little bit of healthy competition. And that can occasionally be true, okay? However, how I like to view it is instead of comparing yourself to others, be inspired by others. But oftentimes, the whole comparison game just really leads to self-abuse. Okay, why? Well, on one hand, we always tend to compare ourselves to things that are just out of our control. And because of that, it keeps you in that little loop of being envious. Okay, so instead of focusing on that, ideally compare yourself to a better version of yourself. That's what forces you to kind of limit it to things that you can control. Another one too, when comparing yourself to others, is you don't really know them. Your view is oftentimes skewed, and you compare, let's just say, the worst aspects of yourself to the best aspects, that you think they have. So you'll never win it, and you're always going to feel like you're coming like second place. And oftentimes we're just not that realistic. The front that people put on, that's not really them. And we tend to buy into this, to surface things. You may be watching someone like even me here on YouTube, and I made many videos trying to show the behind the scenes, but if you compare yourself to me here, or what you see of me, you're never going to win. You don't know me. You don't see the behind the scenes. So try to be as realistic as possible, but once again, try to limit it just on you. Focus solely on yourself. The key is you're so focused on yourself, doing your thing, fuck others. Who cares, what others do? Like looking at someone who has it quote unquote easier than you, how does that help you? And secondly, guess what? Because it's maybe easier, quote unquote easier, that person is not going through as much adversity and not learning the same things you're learning. You're unique in your own way. Stop trying to be someone else. Embrace your uniqueness and just keep doing your own thing. And lastly, really learn to be grateful for who you are and where you're at. Okay, gratitude and lack, the feeling of just lacking something, they don't go together, and you can't do both. Okay, when you're lacking, you're focusing on everything you don't have, and when you're grateful, okay, you learn to practice gratitude. It literally forces you to focus on what you do have. Okay, so make a list. What are you grateful for? What do you have? Okay, and I can guarantee you, if you're envious of someone, someone else is envious of you, and it's your job to figure out what do you have. Okay, and getting external perspectives can help with this, but that's really it. Okay. Learn to practice gratitude. Whenever you're envious, shift your focus. Okay, I may not have that, but what do I have? Or in what way do I actually have what I think I don't have? Because that'll happen too. You think, for example, like, I just really want attention or praise or validation or approval, and you may not have it in that specific, let's just say, frame there, but you probably have it elsewhere. Okay, get creative and notice, where do I have this? And if not, what do I have? Okay, and lastly too, just be happy for other people. That'd be the good frame of mind. If you look at someone who's even, let's just say they have something you don't, instead of being all envious, be happy for them, okay? When you're envious, you're really reinforcing this frame of we're all just separate entities, okay? And your ego is involved. When you kind of embrace, hey, we're all in this together, be happy for everyone else, okay? Be happy for what you have, be happy for what other people have, cheer them on, and this frame of mind will just kind of dissolve, let's just say, that feeling of envy. Okay, so keep this all in mind, and as always, until next time.